Vince, how about at CISA? I'm sure there's a lot of priorities over there. Can you lay out sort of what the top line looks like for the next 1 or 2 years?
Sure. As you mentioned, a lot of priorities. The ecosystem's only getting more complex, and we want to make sure we have that seamless flow of information across the federal, state, local, territorial, and tribal partners and stakeholders. Probably the priorities that we're looking at really goes into alignment with what Laurie was talking about. That integration of voice, data, and video. Now that we're where we are with communications, and what we've seen over the pandemic of how useful all those mediums are. So as far as priorities, we'll look at the implementation of our National Emergency Communications Plan. That's that 5-year strategic roadmap to advance interoperability across the federal, state, local, and territorial and tribal partners in public safety. With that, when you have a good plan, another area that we're looking at is measuring that plan. How do you put in performance, adapting performance measures to make sure that we are moving the needle as it comes to emergency communications, looking at those measurements through a performance management system. I think another priority, not I think, I know another priority is, what did we learn from the pandemic response, especially the impacts to the emergency communications ecosystem? We got telehealth now, telemedicine, alternate care facilities, incident response and overcoming those, congested areas with our public telecommunications services. Probably the other one that I want to highlight is working with our FEMA partners and with, again, all these are work with our public safety partners, but looking at the National Incident Management System and specifically the Incident Command System. And how do we operationalize communications within that systems? No longer is it, back when I was growing up in public safety, it's no longer just handing out a radio and making sure everybody is on the right channels. It has become this broadband, again, continued land mobile radio, IP, the whole ecosystem. So it's about operational communications now, using it at the strategic, at the command and control, and also at the on scene. How do we integrate all those? How do we make them interoperable? So our first responders and public safety will be there with the right information at the right time to save lives and property.